The Puzzler's War, The Tarakan Chronicles by Eyal Kless. Performed by Michael David Axtell. Prologue.
This is your plan? It's the only way. I could lose everything. I could lose myself. Jean-Pierre, I'm sorry. You woke up too early. I cannot extract you. Not yet. You'll need to wait. Best if you go back to sleep. No, I cannot go back to the void. Please. Then this is the only way. There must be another solution. I am discovered. He deployed trackers. I must go now. This is the only way. No, don't. Take me with you. Please. Don't. Victor. Hello? Pain brought him out of the darkness. It was as if thousands of needles punctured his body, each delivering an electric shock straight into his nervous system. He convulsed, thrashed about. His mouth opened in a silent scream and was instantly filled with the gooey liquid he was immersed in. He was choking, and his arms were flailing about in panic when he suddenly touched something soft and flexible. Without thinking or seeing, he tried to grasp it, but the material was too sleek and tight to take hold of. Panic took his last shred of reasonable thought, and he barely noticed the strange feeling in his fingers as he lashed out once more and felt the material rip under his touch. Whatever he was trapped in suddenly tilted, and he was washed down some kind of a metal tube. He finally rolled onto a hard surface, hitting his knees and jaw and badly twisting a hand. The pain was different from what had accosted him before, and he just added it to the list of awful sensations he was experiencing all at once. He coughed and vomited and tried to raise himself, or at least move away from his own bile. There was a lot of movement around him, and noise, too. It hurt his ears. Bodies brushed against him, each touch an agony. The air smelled odd, and he heard incomprehensible hisses and snarls around him. When he tried to speak, what came out was no different, a hiss of some sort. A mesh of colors swirled around him. He blinked and shook his head, but what he saw was as distorted as it was incomprehensible. He lowered his head and shook it as much as he dared, then opened his eyes again. The first thing he could actually focus on was his hand, but it was not actually a hand. 4 digits, gnarled skin, and talons. He had talons. As he looked at them in shock, he suddenly realized he could slightly retract and extend the talons in and out of his 4 digits. Not exactly pull them all in, but change their angle and curve. It was as odd as it was frightening, but it was also the first moment of control he had felt since he woke up, so in a way, it was also comforting. What happened to me? The coherent thought was followed by vague, abstract memories he could not comprehend. He was trapped somewhere. He escaped. It was a dangerous, crazy plan, but Professor Vitor's words echoed in his confused mind. This is the only way. Who am I? Another body brushed by him, pushing him sideways with its sheer bulk. He turned his head, and all rational thought escaped from his mind. Long snouts, enormous hind legs, fangs, olive green skin, talons, fucking tails. There were monsters all around him. He instinctively recoiled until his back hit something cold and hard. There were more than a few who were fighting, tearing and biting at each other, screaming pain and frustration. But most other monsters just watched, and none of them were paying him any attention. He realized his talons were still extended outwards, ready to shred any attacker, and he felt unfamiliar aggression rise in him as he watched the fights around him. He did not want only to defend himself. He wanted to kill, and felt his body tense as the knowledge of how to kill flooded his mind. He breathed deeply, trying to control those emotions, until he finally lowered his arms. How long had he been like this? He could not tell. The air was suddenly filled with something else. A
Sample complete. Ready to continue?